Winnebago County State's Attorney's Office, Criminal Bureau. To my immediate right, Chief Bob Swank of the Cherry Valley Police Department. To my immediate left, Winnebago County Sheriff Gary Caruana. And to his left, Chief Mike Schultz of the Winnebago County Sheriff's Department. Mike heads up the investigation and detective unit for the sheriff. All right, is everybody good to go with cameras and everybody's rolling? I see a lot of heads nodding. I want to thank you for coming here this morning. The Winnebago County State's Attorney's Office is announcing charges against a Rockford man involving a deadly shooting that occurred in Cherry Valley in February of 2018. On February 21st, 2018, just after 4 p.m., Cherry Valley Police were dispatched to 7200 block of Harrison Avenue, the Cherry Vale Mall. After a report of shots fired, when officers arrived, they located a vehicle that had crashed into a light pole on South Mall Drive at the Cherry Vale Mall. A male victim, later identified as Ricky Smith, was found inside the vehicle. Despite all life-saving efforts, Smith did not survive. A subsequent autopsy conducted by the Winnebago County Coroner's Office determined that Ricky Smith died as a result of gunshot wounds. The Cherry Valley Police Department and the Winnebago County Sheriff's Department conducted a follow-up investigation. That investigation led to a person of interest, Devin L. Stevenson, date of birth 5/16. The evidence that was collected by the Cherry Vale Police Department and the Winnebago County Sheriff's Department was presented to the Winnebago County State's Attorney's Office. The investigation of the Cherry Valley Police Department and the Sheriff's Department resulted in a 15-count bill of indictment, which includes 12 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of aggravated discharge of a firearm, and 2 counts of unlawful possession of a weapon by a felon. First-degree murder is a Class M felony that is punishable by a sentence of 20 to 60 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections. It is non-probationable, and it is followed by 3 years mandatory supervised release. Aggravated discharge of a firearm is a Class 1 felony that is punishable by a sentence of 4 to 15 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections, and is followed by a mandatory supervised release of 2 years. Unlawful possession of a weapon by a felon is a Class 2 felony punishable by, in this particular case, special sentence applies 3 to 14 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections, followed by 2 years of mandatory supervised release. Stevenson is currently being held in the Winnebago County Jail on unrelated charges. He is next scheduled to appear in front of the Honorable Judge Brendan Maher at 8:30 a.m. on October 4th, which is today, 2018, in Courtroom D of the Winnebago County Criminal Justice Center. The charges are merely allegations, and the defendant is presumed innocent until or unless proven guilty in a court of law. The mall. Cherry Vale Mall is an important part of our community, and law enforcement, the Winnebago County State's Attorney's Office, and the leaders of this community are not going to allow the safety or the well-being of the Cherry Vale Mall to be challenged. Any individual who challenges the safety of Cherry Vale Mall or any other location in our community that is important to us as citizens will be held accountable. If arrested, will be prosecuted, and if convicted, will be punished. The Cherry Vale Mall and the rest of our community must be kept safe, and it is the hard work of the Cherry Valley Police Department and the Winnebago County Sheriff's Department that is producing these successful results today, as we send a very clear message. The mall is important to us, our community is important to us, and we will not allow that to be challenged, and any individual who does that will be held accountable according to the law. With that, I'd like to invite the Cherry Valley Police Department's Chief of Police, Bob Swank, up to make some comments. Chief Swank.
Thank you all for coming. The charges that have been announced in this case are the result of countless man-hours of investigative police work that were conducted by the dedicated men and women of the Cherry Valley Police Department and the Winnebago County Sheriff's Department, with the assistance of the Winnebago County State's Attorney's Office in the filing of criminal charges and subsequent criminal prosecution. This is yet another incident that ended with the result of a violent offender being appropriately criminally charged due to law enforcement partners working together. Today, I'm letting the law-abiding public know, again, that law enforcement agencies are working together in a regional approach of teamwork and cooperation and apprehending criminals as a result, making our communities safer for you. I'm asking you to help us if you see illegal activity or have information about crimes that have been reported, that you please call the police. You, as the public, are our greatest informational resource and source of assistance, and we want your help. Today, I am again telling those who would commit crimes in our jurisdictions that if you come into our communities and commit criminal acts, that we will all work together and exhaust every investigative resource to arrest you. Your illegal actions will not be tolerated. If you make the choice to engage in unlawful acts in our communities and neighborhoods, we will come for you. You will be brought to justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Swank. I'd like to invite the Winnebago County Sheriff, Gary Caruana, up to offer some comments and thoughts, as the Sheriff's Department did a wonderful job in participating in this investigation. Sheriff, appreciate it.
Good morning. I want to emphasize what the chief did say. It's a regional approach to law enforcement. With the criminal justice system and all law enforcement, that's what we take our outlook on, as a regional approach. And I don't care what the agency is, whether it be Cherry Valley, Roscoe, Rockford. We will jump in and work very tenaciously to get the job done. I got to compliment my detectives, my chief of detectives, and the whole team for assisting and helping with Cherry Valley, and then the Cherry Valley Police Department working as a unit with us to bring this individual to justice and make this community safe as a region, and specifically the mall in this incident. So we're going to continue to drill down our regional approach and help and assist every agency along the criminal justice system. Thank you.
Questions? We'll start at the left. Kristen?
What helped lead to this individual as the man who's believed to have fired those shots?
Well, this is an ongoing investigation and prosecution, so we won't get into the details, but we'd again underscore the fact that the Cherry Valley Police Department and the Winnebago County Sheriff's Department have worked very hard to put together the investigation that led to the arrest of Devin Stevenson for this charge. But beyond that, I'm going to hold off on any details because, as I indicated, it's always an ongoing investigation, and now it's an ongoing prosecution. Follow-up question, Kristen?
Were any members of the community providing tips or helpful?
Well, we always encourage the members of the community to be helpful, and if there are witnesses there or have other information that they provided as quickly as possible. So many crimes are solved that way. I'm not going to get into any details as to who was a witness and what they said, but this investigation was very thorough and took into account all aspects, including speaking to anybody who would have information about the crime.
I know that there have been changes made with security surrounding the mall, at the mall. So I guess since this instance, can you touch on how things have changed as far as patrolling around the mall and how those changes have increased or have helped since this instance?
Yes, we've restructured our plans for policing the mall. We work very closely with the mall and mall management. They're always very cooperative with us. We communicate frequently about potential problems, which are quickly mitigated if there are any. They've been very proactive in their approach and asking us for help. We're glad to provide that. We have seen a much increased presence in the police at the mall, and subsequently we've seen a decrease in problems at the mall.
Is it known if the victim and the suspect knew each other?
At this point in time, it's information I don't think that we want to particular release at this time. The relationship, there's no, at this point, no familiar relationship or anything of that nature, but whether or not they knew each other or this was something that was targeted, I will say this, I don't believe this event was something that was at any time focused on citizens who were going to the mall to shop or enjoy themselves. I think this particular incident was isolated. I'm just going to stop short of talking about what the specific relationship is, because we obviously don't want to start disclosing key information prior to trial. Follow-up question?
Was this potentially gang related, so that people who are going to the mall do not feel that they're being targeted? That might help them know if this was something where they are not in that kind of realm.
Again, I'm not going to disclose information that would suggest it was or wasn't gang related. I want to be very careful to make sure that if individuals are members of a gang versus whether or not this incident was gang related changes things. Certainly the investigation looked at all aspects of what brought this about. What we want to be very careful, first off, not to provide information that's prior to trial that we want to leave for trial. And by the way, the questions you're asking, information will come out. We'll make sure that you get it. But also want to make sure that we don't suggest that there was something going on that would leave people with a misimpression as to what occurred that day at the mall. Clearly, there was a shooting. An individual died as a result of that. Criminal charges have been brought. Law enforcement and prosecution is making a clear statement today that this will not be tolerated in the mall. Every effort will be made to keep the mall and other important parts of our community safe. And individuals, for whatever reason, choose to come to the mall or any place else in our community and challenge the safety and well-being will be held accountable. Any other questions today? All right, Katie did prepare a press release which will be made available to you. Also, if you have any follow-up questions, please be sure to get them to Katie. Katie will make sure that she communicates them to the Sheriff's Department or the Cherry Valley Police Department or myself, and we'll get them answered for you. And beyond that, if anybody needs to talk to any of us